Hey guys, Silverlord here, back again with another review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Iceman as he appears in the Age of Apocalypse story arc. That is right, we're finally dipping into the Colossus Build-A-Figure wave. So before we get into the meat and taters of this review, let's talk about this arm for a second. So he comes with the right arm of Colossus, Pirate Colossus, question mark? I don't know, I don't really associate these types of things with pirates, but to each their own, I guess. But this arm is, I have to tell you, this guy does not seem as chunky as the armadillo we've been looking at over the past few weeks, but still, Build-A-Figure's a Build-A-Figure, and this guy definitely seems like he's going to be quite a substantial Build-A-Figure. Of course, this arm's got the hinge in the shoulder there. It's got the swivel in the bicep, the double jointed elbow, which is something the armadillo doesn't have. I gotta say, they did a pretty decent job with this double elbow here. It's fairly well hidden. I don't believe it's pinless, but it's pretty hidden, so that's nice. He does have a swivel at the wrist with the hinge there. He does come with the alternate turn your head and cough hand. Oh yeah, but this just has the same hinge. But yeah, this is a wave I haven't really tapped into yet, mostly because I haven't had the money to afford them, or the ones I want are never in the store. That said, I did just order Shadowcat, Sabretooth, and, well, because he's a little harder to find anyways, Legion from good old GameStop.com. For a slightly discounted rate, about 18 bucks each, I think, which is what Marvel Legends should be. Inflation. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting those. The Sabretooth in particular looks awesome. That's definitely got some top 10 Legends of the Year potential to it. And to be honest with you, so does this guy, because this is the first Iceman we've gotten that I'm actually going to put on my shelf because he's not a hunk of garbage. The other Icemen we've gotten in the past have been, in my opinion, hot garbage, especially that retro card one. That one looks like frickin' Mercury from DC's Metal Men, for crying out loud. Look at the face on that thing and tell me he doesn't got a Pinocchio nose going on. That said, this guy doesn't have any facial features to screw up, so I guess that's a plus. He does come with some blue Carnage hands, which this is cool. I like seeing these in this color, but can we get an Iceman with an ice sled, for crying out loud? Seems like that's overdue. I mean, let's get back into the Riders line, because that's one of my favorite sublines in Legends. Get that Hawkeye with a Sky Sled out, and get the, or is it Jet Sled? Sky Sled's Motu, isn't it? Master of the Universe. And let's get an Iceman with his ice sled out. Let's have a sled wave. Let's have Hawkeye and Iceman. Let's do it. Let's get that done. That'd be awesome. While you're at it, a Danny Ketch Ghost Rider, because of course I'm going to ask for that. But taking a look-see at Iceman here. Old Bobby. Is it Bobby Drake? I can't remember his last name. I like this figure a lot, man. It's a really nice Iceman. That said, seems a little bit thin. Of course, I'm never satisfied. I don't know. This version of Iceman seems a little bit chunkier as far as the artwork goes. This is fine. This is okay. But I almost think this isn't quite Bucky Cap. This is in between that and Pizza Spidey, because that's where these limbs come from. It's the Pizza Spidey Iceman from the Juggernaut wave, which we got many, many years ago. I would have liked to have seen this guy on maybe a Bucky Cap size body. I don't think this is quite there. I don't think I have one to compare him to, but just seems a little bit on the thin side. Just a smidge. That said, it's still a really nice Iceman. He's nice and blue, if you're into that. I would have liked some of this paint, like, all over the place, instead of just on the icicle parts. Would have made him a little bit more premium, in my opinion. But as far as articulation on this guy goes, his head will look up. It'll look down. It'll rotate side to side. He does have a tilt there. No facial features, which is my favorite look for Iceman. This is my favorite look for Iceman, by the way. So this guy has some top 10 Legends of the Year potential, I think, for me anyways. Shoulders go out to the side pretty far, considering he's got these little spike pads on it. Rotation all the way around. He's got a bicep swivel. He's got a double jointed elbow, which works pretty well. He's got swivel in the wrist as well as a hinge. And, ooh, hit the camera there. He does have interchangeable hands, so the hands are, of course, easy to pop in and out. Quite a fan of that. Ab crunch works. It clicks one click forward, one click back. No loosey-goosey there. Pretty happy about that. As a waist swivel, works good. Legs kick forward really well, like a right angle. They kick back down. They kick out to the side. Pretty good. Not too shabby. Not as good as the Cyborg Spider-Man or, the Human Torch from the Fantastic Four Retro Wave, from what I've heard. But not shabby. Not shabby. Thigh cut works fine. Double jointed knees work fine. A little bit loose here and there. I will say he does have some looseness, particularly in this knee. But he doesn't have a hard time standing. He will stand up quite easily. And he also has a hinge in the foot with a rocker and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. Also, this version does not have the toes. This does not bug me, but it is not comic accurate, so I understand why it bugs some people. If anything, I would have liked to have seen him a little bit broader, a little bit chunkier. Just a little bit. Because that's what this version of Iceman is. Maybe we'll see that at some point. I don't know. I would like, speaking of armored characters, because it was like Ice Armor Iceman, wasn't that the name of that figure? I would like to see like a total armor Rhino. That'd be kind of cool. I know they're talking about doing a big figure on the Spider-Man retro card. It'd be nice if it was him. Or maybe a lizard that's a little bit easier to work with. But, going on a tangent. So with that being said, I really like this guy. And I think it's time that now we take a look at some comparisons. First up, and since I don't have any other figures from the Colossus wave at this current time, here's Iceman next to a couple other characters giving off the 90s vibes. We have Modular Armor Iron Man and the Spider-Man retro card Venom based off the Spider-Man animated series. Nothing like some good old-fashioned 90s goodness here. Giving me a lot of Toy Biz vibes too, because all three of these guys were available in the Toy Biz days, the 90s Toy Biz days, where they made a figure of literally everybody. Kind of curious if we're ever going to get that with Hasbro. Probably not. At least not anytime soon, but I'm holding out hope that we get some of those wackadoo X-Force characters like Grizzly and the Goat Man looking guy and all those other crazy yahoos that nobody remembers nowadays but wants a figure of. I mean, let's be real here. But that said, I think Iceman totally fits with the rest of your 90s legends, especially these two. Venom with that cell shading and Iron Man just looking like he stepped right out the cartoon. I think he works really well here. And last but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, the A.O.A. 11th Spawn, who as usual towers over everyone. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and while this may not be a perfect representation of Iceman in his Age of Apocalypse look or otherwise, it is the best Iceman figure we have. Fortunately / unfortunately, it's not traditional, so it's going to tip some people off, but at the same time, it is my favorite look for the character, so I quite like this figure, but I will say, I like translucent blue Carnage hands as much as the next guy, but it would be nice if we got some Iceman figures with actual Iceman accessories, like some ice blasts, his ice sled. Again, that Riders line that really hasn't had anything over the past year. Would be really nice if we finally got A, that Hawkeye they showed with his jet sled, and B, an Iceman with his ice sled. And you know what? Just for kicks and giggles, C, my Danny Ketch Ghost Rider, gosh darn it, because, well, that's long overdue. So with that being said, if you are a fan of the Age of Apocalypse series, or just want a really cool looking Iceman and are indifferent towards how he looks, which version it is, or otherwise, I would highly recommend you pick this guy up because it is the best we have so far fortunately / unfortunately. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And if you are so inclined, please hit that notification bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one, because we've got to show that algorithm who's boss, right? If you haven't already, hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep the comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.